press like every day. I've been doing something every day since Sunday, so this is kind of my Friday as far as that goes. But yeah, it's just been a busy week, man.
Yeah, it's been same here. I hear you. It's just work and then doing the show and the projects here. It's been a crazy week. It's been really busy.
It just seems like as we're spinning back to normal, everybody's kind of looking at things like, we did a lot last year, but let's do 3 times what we did last year this year. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how it goes that way. It's just like right, like, so you're trying to get back to normal, and then just the routine of everything, kind of how it works and everything. Let me see, just check if someone is in here. Participants. Todd. Okay, he still hasn't showed up. All right. So usually you would be talking to Tim. Tim has some technical difficulties with his equipment. So usually I'm like kind of his right hand man, his fallout too. So I'll be taking care of you guys. So I did a couple of research with you. So if you're ready, I can ask you a couple questions and we can do the interview.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're ready, let's do it. He'll jump on. Like I said, he's maybe just be running a few minutes behind schedule, I would imagine. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, Todd, and we'll wait for Mark in a little bit. But I just listened. So when Tim gave me the band and said, "Hey, check these guys out," and I ran across Divided. And
yeah,
it's funny that we were just talking about before we started recording about how things getting back to normal. Can you tell me about that song? Cause it's very like 20, like if you sum up 2020, that song right there, like, is like something that someone should hear. Like that motivates you to just be united, to say, hey, 2020 was just crappy for everybody. Can you explain a little bit of what that song came from and how that?
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to. So that was like the third song that we wrote, and it was during the summer of, obviously of 2020 during the lockdown. And I have a habit, I'll write lyrics and I fill them up on my phone. I have all kinds of lyric projects going on my phone all the time. So I had that opening line, there's a fire burning in the streets, I think that's the lyric. We wrote it a year ago now at this point, but anyway, I had the opening lines of the song, and that had sat on my phone for a little bit, and it was the third song that we started working on. At that point in time, I decided, okay, let's go ahead and spend some time on it and finish it out. And so, like we did with the majority of the songs, it was either myself or Mark had written the lyrics to everything. We sent everything off to Dan Reed, our producer, co-writer on all the tracks. He worked up the music on it, and he changed the title. The original title was a little different, and he finessed it a bit. And I mean, the first time I heard the finished demo of the song, it was like just the hair came up in my arms, man, because it was just like, it's such a great anthem,
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, it's definitely a song that was written for the year 2020. And we talked, early on in the project, how long is this going to take us to do it? Can we get this thing out in 3 months? And we initially were thinking, we'll get this song done and out in 3 months. Well, it didn't happen. It took a little bit longer. And so we didn't get it out in 2020. We got it out, I think, at least on YouTube right around the beginning of January of 2021. But yeah, it's a song that was definitely written with 2020 in mind, and I'm glad you appreciate it and got that message.
Yeah, absolutely. The music video, whoever put that together, or whoever does your music videos, I really appreciate the effort and intricacies that they put into it.
Cool.
There's another video that I want to bring up. I think it was one of your singles that you guys released a couple of weeks ago. I'll get into that in a second. But staying with the topic of Undivided, it's something that if for whoever's watching right now, go check it out. It's on YouTube, AD 2020 on your YouTube channel. It's so powerful. It's inspiring, and it's also like you have all kinds of different people on it. It was just like a unification song. It's just,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you need a boost from that year, that song is definitely a really cool song to listen to.
Yeah, and that was part of, the idea behind the album too, was we were trying to write songs that were all positive, uplifting songs, uh, you know, songs to give people something to listen to have some, feeling of hope in the year. Again, we were originally thinking we were going to get the album out, in 2020, and it just didn't happen for various reasons. But yeah, that was kind of the message behind everything. Really was, songs of inspiration, songs of hope.
So as a piggyback off to that, I wanted like a two-part question. First of all, how did the band originate? Where did that come from? I know there's a lot of different other people in the band. And
Yeah.
I think Tim kind of said you guys were doing separate projects. And then on top of that, like during the COVID pandemic, 2020, so you started writing songs. How was it hard? Was it easy? How did the band, or how did you guys come together to continue to make music and persevere through such a dark time for a lot of people?
Sure. So, let me just touch, I guess I'll touch base on how we all came together. So Mark, who maybe will join us here, was one of the first people. Obviously, he and I got together. Mark and I have worked in various projects for, over the past 12 years or so. And we had talked in 2019 about doing a project of new original music. And I had some specific ideas behind it that, in terms of who I wanted to work with, in terms of producing and things like that. So in 2019, Dan Reed was already on my radar in terms of like, if we can get an opportunity to work with him and to do an album, we might be able to make this happen. And so I was just kind of waiting, to see, when the right opportunity would come up. Fast forward to the pandemic. I was just seeing that, a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, especially musicians, they were at home and they weren't working, and I mean, and whether they were joking or not, they were talking about, hey, I got enough funds to make it through December. After December, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know so part of the inspiration of the album was I wanted to do it, but I also wanted to be able to help people where I could with whatever, give something back. And so that was part of the whole thing right from the get-go. So as far as bringing players in and bringing people in to work with us, Dan Reed was one of the first people. He and I had a conversation pertaining to another business venture that I'm involved with him on a small level. And I just asked him during the call. I said, "Hey," I said, "while you're home, do you have some time? Do you want to write some new music with us?" And he said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And he'd asked me, "Who are you going to get to play on the album?" And I said, "Well, I know Greg Smith, the bass player from Ted Nugent and Alice Cooper and everything. He's lives, close to me in a sense." So I said, "I will give Greg a call and see if he's interested." And I had been listening to Ron Bumblefoot Falls acoustic albums a lot during that early stage of the lockdown. I was just blown away by his playing, his musicality, and those sorts of things. And I had met Ron as well at a Carl Palmer event the previous year. So I reached out to Ron, and after quite a few phone calls and Zoom calls and stuff, and him listening to the demos and us playing things back and forth, he agreed to do the project, which was really cool. So at that point, I had guitar and bass, and Dan and Mark on lead vocals. As the project progressed, Melvin Brannon, who's also in Dan Reed Network, is a good friend of mine. He had heard some of the tracks and he said, "Hey, I'd like to get in on some of that. Can I play on a tune or two?" So I was really honored to hear that.
Yeah.
And so, Melvin's a good friend for many, many years. I'm a huge fan of Melvin, as well as Dan and everybody. But for me, it was really cool that he stepped up and said, "Hey, I want to play on that album. Can I play on it?" So we had the perfect song for him. And we actually have a song that we actually have two bass players on. It's kind of a Spinal Tap thing.
Nice.
But, yeah, we actually have a song. We have two bass players on it. Greg Smith plays electric bass, and Melvin plays upright bass with a bow.
Nice.
And so it was a chance for me to do a lot of things. Like, I would never get this opportunity, and Melvin also played harmonica and a bunch of other things. So he came in towards, the songs they were already written and we were starting to record. And then the last piece of the puzzle was Derek Sherinian on keyboards, who has worked with Ron in Sons of Apollo, and of course he was in Dream Theater and things like that. And again, I had met Derek, knew who he was, was impressed with him and everything. And Ron really opened the door for that. We weren't going to put a lot of keyboards on the album, but when you have Derek, waiting in the wings to play if you want him, it was like, yeah, let's do it. So we ended up putting some keys on the album.
So that kind of brings me to you. Now we formed what AD 2020 is. Yeah. During the pandemic time, so I know you said you wanted to give back. Was it hard to do it with the band? So walk me through the creative process of
so
that time.
So keep in mind, we're on 2 separate continents, time zones going on. I'm in Pennsylvania, Mark's in Pennsylvania, Greg Smith's in Pennsylvania, Bumblefoot's in New Jersey, New York area, Melvin's in California, Derek is in California, and Dan is in Prague, Czechoslovakia, so Czech Republic rather. So, it's one of those things that, it took a lot of organizing and just really staying on top of things. We had tracks flying in from all over the place. And our mix engineer, Ron D. Silvestro from RDS Media, he did a fantastic job of keeping all those files in place and in check. But it really came down, it was like him and we were the only 2 that knew all the pieces that were there, because they were all coming in separately, different things. And so that in itself was a big undertaking. Every day for me was kind of like Christmas, because I would get these files come in and I'm like, okay, here's Greg's stuff. Let's go load it in and let's listen. We had a rough demo and my drums. So now, okay, oh my God, we got real bass now. Listen to this, and then, a couple weeks later, again, it was Christmas time, because we got, here's Dan Reed's 8 layers of backing vocals that he did and his guitar, and and just, it was just like that kind of stuff. That's what we went through, doing it all. These guys are such pros that everything was done really, really quick, and they just nailed it. We had a couple things we fixed here and there, but most of the stuff that we did was when somebody submitted something to us, we were just like blown away. Yeah, okay, no need to even think about changing anything. It's perfect for the track. Let's leave it. So that was kind of the process. Yeah, just working remotely and working, as a team, trying to collaborate.
And you see that time and time again. You're not the only bands that have done it. I talked to a couple of different bands, and that's kind of the similar process. And almost, they say, just like it's like Christmas or like a gift every day when you get a new track. Someone just laid down something, and then you start putting the things together. How that process works, and staying focused and staying continuously to make the craft and the music to just keep going through a dark time. But saying that, I did see that you guys were scattered all over the place, right? Especially when it comes to I'm a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a sucker for westerns. I love westerns. So you might know where I'm going with this. Ricochet, right? Yeah. I watched the video for Ricochet. I love that video. I love the song. I love the video. I love the Tombstone-ish look where everyone's walking down. Talk to me about that video. Talk to me how that happened. How did you guys put that together? I love that video.
I'm a visual guy. I really am, and so when I listen to music or whatever, I got some story going on, whether I'm listening to it or I'm creating or whatever. I'm a visual guy. The song was Mark's. It was something he had written years ago and I actually demoed a little bit. And when this project was coming together, he pulled it out of his archives and presented it to us. And again, it was one of the first or second songs that we worked on. And again, when I heard that right away, I was blown away. As we started developing the song, there's some electronica, and that's what I call it. It's little sound effects that are in the beginning.
Yes.
And it's Dan Reed, and it's a little rhythm that's just there. And it's so, it's got Dan's stamp all over it. And
it's a unique sound. It's like it hits you.
It's so cool, and I'll just tell you, it kicks the album off. It's the track that kicks the album off. But so I heard that, and there were other things, as I was composing my drum parts, I played a lot of what was on the demos, but I also added some of my own flavor to it. One of the things that I came up with is what was in the middle. There's little cymbal punctuations that I'm doing that kind of sound like bullets hitting metal or something like that. And I did that deliberately because in my mind, when I was working on my stuff, to me, it had a Southwest feel. It had a, Ricochet, Six Guns, saloons, I had all that visual stuff going on, but we were in lockdown. I'm like, how can we get to Arizona? How can we get to, some place to film this stuff? We have barns, we have chickens, we have sheep and cows in Pennsylvania. We don't have that backdrop. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like it's just not here. So I was constantly, thinking, how can we get, out west somewhere to film some stuff? And it never happened. But we ended up coming up with a couple different production crews, a couple different videos until we settled on the final one for Ricochet.
It was however you guys did it or however you composed it. It looks great. I loved it. It was awesome.
Cool.
It just looked great, man. It was one of those things I would go back and listen to it. Just visually, it was just good. And I'm thinking like, man, how did they get this together during that whole time? Because I saw also you guys were all over the place. But however you guys did it, it was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah, we used a couple different crews. So you mentioned the Undivided video that was done by Jay Yachetta and Unisound Productions out of Philadelphia. He also worked with us. We have a video coming out on the first called Why Can't We Be Friends, that he shot some of the footage of that stuff for us early on. But then Ricochet, we used another firm for that one that was based out of the UK. So
I see here, I was doing a little research, the next album coming out in August, Lockdown Diaries, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that album and there it is. What can we?
There it is.
Where can we expect? What can we expect for nice album? What can we expect from that album?
So, it's kind of like me telling you how great my kids are, and my kids are wonderful, But yeah, I mean, I think, and I'm a music fan. I'm a music fan before I was a musician. So for me, speaking as a music fan, I think it's a great album. I think it's a great album for a couple different reasons. One, it's just a great album to cruise to. If you have the CD, you throw it in the CD player, you get in your car and you go for a cruise.
Yeah.
You're
definitely bumping Genesis, aren't you?
What's that?
You're definitely bumping Genesis, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's where I came from, So yeah, we wanted to create an album. It wasn't just about doing a single. So the album, I'll say this, it has a lot of different musical textures, a lot of different musical landscapes, and it's going to twist and it's going to turn and it's going to take you places you don't expect to go. It's just kind of cool. If you're really paying attention, really listening to it, there's a lot for the ears. And I just think it's a great cruising record. I really do. I have a vet and I cruise in this thing a lot. Take the tops off and we just go for a ride. And before you throw the disc in, and before you know it, man, it's like fading out because you've just gone from song to song to song. And so that's my take on it. It's got a lot of great playing on it. It's got a lot of great messaging. It's a rock record, but it grooves.
Yeah.
That,
and you touch on something really interesting that I don't think I get to ask a lot of musicians or bands, because you jam to your stuff, right? And then so it's like so like and it's not like an ego thing, right? I'm just saying because like you're saying like when you said that, I could imagine you love the music so much that you will even listen to it, because there's some people that just keep on playing their music. And I've done music videos and I love the song at first, and then at a certain point you kind of lose a little bit of that spark because you've listened to it so many times that you just kind of like, you still appreciate the song, but you don't listen to it because like a normal fan, because you've heard it so many times.
I think I'll
bump it and go, like you said, cruise with it.
Yeah, and I think I'll get there in August. I think by the end of August, I will never listen to it again, probably at the end of August. You know what I mean? But just for, so I was up to speed for doing press, and also, obviously, we put a lot of time and effort into it. we have the ability to do some editing. I mean, obviously we've done an initial batch of CDs and things like that. So, you know, we could have this initial batch that goes out that people buy. Maybe the second batch, we might tweak things a little bit. And that's part of the process too, you know, is get some of them out there, get them in the hands, get some feedback from them. And then, you know, maybe on the next pressings or whatever, we might tweak things slightly, you know, but not much. But yeah, we put a lot of time and effort into it. I mean, the artwork, just to kind of show you here, man, I mean, that's sort of what the album, the vinyl is going to look like. I'm not going to give it all away on camera, but like, you know, we just had it's just a very cool layout. It's almost like it's a diary that, you know, people wrote about what was going on in 2020. And there's a lot of things as you look for it. There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs, things written in the liner notes and whatever. So it's not something you're going to burn through in 10 minutes. You're going to listen to it. You're going to go back. You're going to listen to it again. You're going to look at the liner notes 10, 15 times to catch it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the album cover. Is very like Earth, Wind and Fire, Genesis, Journey-ish, like 70-ish kind of groove thing to it. I love it.
Yeah, it's we have actually a friend of the family, Renee Reeser, a creative out of LA. We had some conversations with her, and she just nailed it. She really did. She did a great job on it. If you look at the album cover, the one thing I never picked up on, but up here in these corners, these are little mazes because we were all trying to figure out our way. You know, she's just brilliant. You know, yeah,
awesome.
She's brilliant. So,
so I was doing a little research on you. You're influenced by Kiss. You like Kiss, the band Kiss.
Oh yeah.
Who are you? What band member are you?
I gotta align with the cat, man.
The cat man, the drum.
I gotta align with the cat.
Stay with the drums.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I respect that. Like a lot of, especially, people are learning a lot first right now. A lot of people don't know I also like Kiss. I'm a younger cat, you know, but I appreciate music, you know, and I love Kiss. I love the movie they made about them. I think was it Detroit Rock City.
Yeah. Detroit Rock City. It's amazing. That's one of the best
movie.
movies ever.
It's
the
a great movie.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Any movie that can put music into it without not really talking, it's not like really about the musicians, but like it's about getting to the show, right? And then they're obviously in it, but it's all about the music. Like that's amazing. I love stuff like that. That's awesome. And it's cool that you're like, you know, you like these like 70s progressive rock people. It's awesome.
Oh, I do. I mean, I like a lot of things. I mean, I like her. I mean, I like modern stuff. I mean, she's brilliant. She's an amazing player. You know, I like all kinds of stuff. I'm not a music snob. I bring it all in, man. I listen to 40s big band music. I listen to, you know, everything really. Yeah. Now, it's all spinning around up in here, and it all comes out some way.
Dude, you're on this. I'm on the same page, man. I like Benny Goodman. You know, I like all the big. My dad was really big with a big band, so I like Glenn Miller and all that stuff. The big bands.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything? What's going on with live performances? Are you going to be able to do some live performances? What's going on in the future? What do you guys have planned out other than the release?
So we put the project together. It was put together with the idea that this would be a one-off, very special project. This will never occur again. That was the idea when we first started talking. So what I tell people is this, you know, we are kind of like, we like to call ourselves the non-traveling Wilburys. You know, the likelihood of us getting together on the stage, you know, all six of us, it's highly unlikely because we're on different continents. Everybody has, you know, big full-time gigs that they have in the industry. You may see some of us play together. You may see some of us guesting, that sort of thing. We welcome that. We welcome the opportunities, those sorts of things. I think that'll happen. Mark and I will continue to do some things together next year. What that's going to be, what that's going to look like. We'll start to put the pieces of that together this fall. You know, after the album's out, I get a little bit of time to get some vacation in, come back from that. We'll have some time to start thinking about, you know, what are the next steps, you know, in that direction. We'd love to do a second album, and we will, you know, approach that depending on how this one does. We've talked to some of the guys involved, and some of them, you know, we haven't talked to everybody yet, just haven't had the opportunity. but the people we've talked to, yeah, they sounds like they're interested in doing a follow-up at some point if it makes sense to do so. So
Well, we're very fortunate to be a part of this very special project, especially like the things that we've come through or we overcome or have sparked during 2020. We'll look back and be like, wow, this triggered this, or this time frame inspired these events, even if it was a one-off
oh
or
yeah,
collaboration, or a community getting together to do this. Like, you always will look back and look at Undivided and see like what you guys made. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's awesome. Even if it's a one-time thing or a limited thing,
Yeah.
it's awesome that this was able to be created during that.
And that's one of the things Mark and I talked about. Mark will, we'll always talk about, that, yeah, long after we're gone, this music will be here. Long after we're gone, this music will be here for everybody. And it's, that in itself is amazing. So.
Well, it shows right there like a special point in time, right? It's a very important that you guys did that.
Yeah, and I mean that's and again looking at the artwork, I mean there's no denying it, man. It's right there, right center, drawn,
beautifully done.
Yeah. Beautifully. So, yeah, right now as we speak, if you search on 80-2020 on YouTube at all, we own it at this point. I could change tomorrow, but I mean as of right now, we're trending really well, and if you search for that year, we're at the top of the list right now. So that's kind of cool.
Well, I wish you the best in all your endeavors. What do you have any other projects? What we got going on with you, Todd, that we might want to be?
Me personally, well, I just ordered a new drum set. I'll say that. I just ordered a new drum set, which I've been holding off for. And that's going to lead up to some things coming this fall. Like I said, I'll be making announcements later in the fall. But I'll be back. I'll be back to playing live gigs here in the States at some capacity. But right now, my focus is on guiding this project, getting the album out. And once it's all done, I'm going to go on vacation because I haven't had a vacation in 2 years.
Especially with things opening up and you get to go out. Enjoy it. Like people say, well, you're on vacation in 2020. I'm like, that's not a vacation. We're stuck in
no, I worked. I mean, I was busy right up until like March 15th or 17th. I mean, like I was busy with work. I was busy playing gigs and things like that. I had a hernia, right? I had a hernia that I was putting off. I'll do this real quick, but yeah, I had a hernia, and I planned on going in March of 2020 to get it taken care of. All the surgeries were canceled. So I held in there all summer long. And then it was time to record my drum tracks and everything. I was in pain when I was doing the drum tracks and everything, but yeah, it's been a crazy couple of years. So I'm ready for some time off, recharge the batteries, and I'll be back. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It was such a fun. I had fun. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Cool, man.
We didn't get Mark in there, but we'll say hi to Mark. Mark,
absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you, but he wasn't here. Lastly, where can we find you? Where can we get all the stuff?
So best place to start is on our website, www.ad2020music.com, and on there we update it as we get new news and features and things. But that also has links to all our social media on there as well.
Perfect. Follow us. Perfect. Mark, Todd, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
This up here, and we'll hopefully get to talk soon.
Yeah, maybe we'll get back to you. It sounds great. Looking forward to it.